What's going on, guys? It's Luke22SV here, and welcome back to the final round of the Season 1 of the career mode today, here for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, with all to play for going into the last race between the two Mercedes. Bottas with a 9-point lead, so Bottas looking favourite for the title. We can still secure P6 in the driver's title, which would be an awesome achievement in our first season, working our way up from Toro Rosso and then to Alfa Romeo, who have the third best car at the moment heading into Season 2. That should be very interesting indeed. But we'll soon find out how we get on in this qualifying session and the race. But with fourth in the constructors all sorted, there's not too much to play for really, so we just got to go into the qualifying and try and see if we can get close enough to Pierre Gasly, who's been struggling a lot recently, and whether we can take P6 in the driver's standings away from him. So just 11 points separating myself and Gasly. So it could be very close between us two as we head into qualifying. Abu Dhabi hasn't really been too strong of a track for me in the past. In the last couple of career modes in the last couple of seasons I've done on the 2018 career mode, it wasn't my favourite or strongest track. So coming to this weekend, I'm probably expecting not to do too well. But coming into qualifying, we're on our first run, and just like in Brazil, we messed up our first lap in Sector 2. With a little spin, we just sort of locked up, and then the rears were locked up, and then we just had to slow it down. But yeah, disappointing to be on the back foot. But coming on to start our main lap now, we're currently in P7, so behind the Racing Point of Daniel Ricciardo. So Racing Point looking quite good again into the last race of the season. Left it a bit late to mount a challenge really for P4 in the constructors. We've managed to take that away from them, but just ahead of Weber. Again, just like in Brazil, we set a banker lap, which is good enough for P7. So this lap really could even be much better. It could be towards the top end of the grid. So this is a really impressive pace that we're actually showing around the streets of Abu Dhabi. Not the streets of Abu Dhabi. It feels like a street circuit sometimes. But down towards, we're actually half a second up on our lap time. So this could actually put us really towards the top end of the grid. And that would be a perfect way to end the qualifying for the end of the season. So we get the DRS open, and just with all that ERS and all these modes and all these tyres, we're able to put in a good lap now. So hopefully now we can have a good end to this lap. We get a little bit of a track extender, slight corner cut there, but we get away with it. It's not too bad. It's not going to gain us too much time. Not even going to lose it. It might even lose us a bit of time, if anything, over the curbs. This is where we lost it in qualifying. But we just managed to go there nice and tidy this time. Very tidy lap, a very good lap by the looks of it so far. We just got a car ahead of us, which shouldn't cause us too many problems. We run wide, almost into the wall though, to come around the last couple of corners of this lap for our final qualifying session of the year. And the Haas is in front of us, but we will cross the line now, and that will be good enough for P3. So a fantastic lap to end the season. I think the two Mercedes should be in front of us then, because they've been dominating qualifying, dominating the race all season, and indeed Hamilton getting a much needed pole. So could we help our countrymen out there and try and overtake Valtteri Bottas at the start of this race? As you can see, the Mercedes are very close, but beyond that, we're half a second down on Hamilton still. So just showing how dominant the Mercedes are. You can see the gap in the driver standings there as we look before we go into the race. 11 points separating myself and Gasly. There's a chance Weber can take the position off Perez as well. So all to play for still in the last race in terms of the driver standings. But constructors is all sorted. Really, there's nothing we can really have to worry about there, or try and catch up to the Red Bulls. That will be the target for next season, starting from zero again. We'll definitely be looking to take that P3 away from Red Bull, who've struggled towards the second half of the season. Probably been just a midfield team at best. But here's the final grid order for the season then, and Hamilton on pole, a much needed pole. He needs to get at least 9 more points than Bottas today. We line up third alongside Leclerc, who will be feisty again. Perez ahead of Butler. So the McLarens and the Racing Points looking strong. Weber down in 8th, Verstappen in 9th, Vettel 10th. So he's not had a good qualifying. Russell, Norris and Grosjean, and Danny Kvyat and Kevin Magnussen. And down in 18th is Pierre Gasly, and the two Renaults at the back of the grid having a disappointing second half of the season too, the two Renaults. So Gasly in P18. So this is a perfect chance. We just need to basically finish 4th and hope that he doesn't get into the point. So at the moment, we're going to take P6 away from Pierre Gasly. So we had to follow those 5 red lights to go out for the last time this season, and we're underway in Abu Dhabi. And again, it's a poor start. You can see Leclerc flies past us almost immediately into turn 1. We go on the outside though, trying to fight back, but again we've lost that position to Leclerc, down to P4, and behind us you can see Butler fighting with Sergio Perez. So Butler's picked up his qualifying form, as he had a great qualifying in Brazil last time out to qualify just behind me. Again, he's just behind me again, but now we're still trying to fight back for that P3 with Leclerc, but Ferrari is too strong in the race compared to us, so we're going to be losing those positions at least to the likes of Leclerc, and well, Vettel should be coming through the field as well. He's had a poor qualifying, unlike him. We should expect to see the Ferrari coming through, so we'll have to watch out for Vettel in this race for sure, but hopefully if we can stay P4 and Gasly doesn't get any points, that'll be 6th place in the driver standings for us at the moment. But out front, the 2 Mercedes looking like they're going to be just going at it as well. They need Leclerc to get involved really there. Hamilton should perhaps do his 2016 tactics really, try and get Leclerc and myself up involved with the title battle. But again, I don't think his AI is probably programmed to do that, which is understandable. But there we go then, going through the first lap of this race, and it's going to be P4 at the end of this first lap. We've got Devon Butler behind us, so hopefully we don't have to worry about too much about him. But we're trying to get back into P3 there. We're closing a lot on Leclerc towards the end of this lap, but again, looks like that challenge is now going to be over, because Leclerc's now pulling away from us again, and we're going to have to slot back into P4 and just try and get through this race now. Try not to worry about too much, but again, maybe we haven't got the pace because, well, we've just been a little bit slow in the races recently, and you can see there's this replay at the start. Not really too much to show. Leclerc just getting a good start, managing to get past us immediately, and then having to slot back into 4th. And then you can see just behind us Butler and Perez going at it, and then Weber as well just behind with Daniel Ricciardo, and you can see just Vettel and Verstappen in the background too. So they're the kind of cars we're going to have to worry about today. And at the moment we've got Devon Butler as well following us, and actually thinking about making a move here for P4. So Devon Butler's got the early advantage in this race, starting from P6 behind Sergio Perez. He's now got past us into the chicane, but we actually stick it back down the inside, a little bit of contact, but just defending our position as much as we can, trying to keep hold of P4, as that's our only chance of getting P6 in the championship. But at the moment our pace isn't there in the race, despite qualifying so high up. Again, it just seems to be a familiar theme, and again going into that chicane again, Butler thinking about a move, but again I didn't think he was close enough to make that move, but I thought he was a little bit too far back, but he thought about it, stuck his car up the inside, but it didn't come off as an overtake, so that's not a problem. We carry on in P4 at the moment, but we just haven't got the pace at the moment in this race, which is something we're going to have to address in Season 2, why our race pace isn't here, and depending on who we actually drive for, whether it's just a thing, a personal thing that the AI is stronger in the race, or whether it's actually something to do with the car, because even Weber's qualified quite well and fallen back, but now going on to lap 3, Butler again on the outside into turn 1, not really an overtaking opportunity, but on the outside of turn 2 he cuts back underneath us and almost makes it overtake stick there, but has to think about staying back in P5 and waiting for a perfect opportunity on the DRS straight, which will come in just a moment's time. We saw him attack us in the start of the Brazilian race, but perhaps not having the best engine, wasn't able to get past us. With a bit of DRS and, well, all of his ERS turned up, can he get past us here into the chicane? Again, the main overtaking spot on this track, just followed by another DRS straight and a chicane. And, well, Perez has got some problems apparently, according to our engineer who's just come on the radio there. So that should help us out a little bit as well, because Perez is a little bit behind us. Maybe he'll start to fall back, and it'll just be myself and Butler for now, and Perez will have to keep those guys behind him. But at the moment we've still got Butler behind us, but we haven't really had to worry about them too much trying to make an overtake on us. We've got a lot of cars following us at the moment, so for whatever reason it's just not working out for us in this race, and we're just having to defend as much as we can at the moment. Maybe it's just the first stint of this race, but coming into the bit where we made our mistake in qualifying, we've run wide again on that curb, and we've lost the position to Devon Butler, and it looks like we could lose the position to Sergio Perez as well. So a mistake again, creeping into our last race of the season. Not really helped us a lot there. We lost 2 positions, and Perez has got a problem as well. As you can see, he's driving very slowly, and Butler's pulled away. So thinking about trying to make a move on the outside of the last corner. That's slowed our teammate a little bit down there, and then you can see Ricciardo and Vettel all going wheel to wheel into turn 1. There's a huge battle going on here, thanks to myself and Perez and our problems. And Weber's now got past us, and looks like Ricciardo's got past us as well, almost as we forced him out wide. And now Vettel's got past Ricciardo, and so has Verstappen. So Ricciardo will not be too happy about that one. He's lost a few positions there, thanks to me. But we lost so many positions. We lost 3 positions now. We're down to P7 from P4. It's just a matter of a few corners thanks to one mistake. We got a teammate ahead of us now, so down to P7, and looks like we're going to continue to go backwards because we've got Sebastian Vettel behind us. But now Lucas Weber getting past the ill racing point, that's probably not running on all cylinders at the moment. We again just managed to follow Lucas Weber past him there, just showing how ill that racing point is. And it's only a matter of time before Sebastian Vettel puts a move on him too. And I'm sure Perez will be the one slipping down the field now. And Vettel is indeed up to P7. So now that the field's spread out a little bit, you can see Devon Butler down the road. So Butler's a little bit in the distance. Maybe Butler's going to get a good P5 here from McLaren, who are really struggling in the constructors as well. Had a really poor season now for McLaren compared to real life as well. So P6 and P7, well P5 and P6 actually, with Weber ahead of myself, and we're looking to get back into this now, trying to get back past our teammate who got past us after that mistake that we made on the previous lap. But hopefully now we can start to settle down. The fuel's starting to get burnt, and well, now we have a lighter car. Maybe it's just that when we have a heavy car, we just seem to be a bit slower. But with the lighter car in qualifying and towards the end of the race, we tend to be a bit quicker, as we've shown a lot in this second half of the season, perhaps. But at the moment, we got on to lap 5. We've got Sebastian Vettel following us, so we're going to have to watch in our mirrors perhaps more than we're looking to watch ahead with our teammate Weber ahead of us. But we're going to have DRS to defend ourselves at least from Vettel, who will be looking to cut his way through the pack and at least get up to P4, which is what we want to be in at the moment. But at the moment, that's not really looking too realistic at the moment, because Weber and Butler is off in the distance. But we got DRS, we've got a tow on our teammate, and we're closing in on him. And this could be a perfect opportunity to retake P5 away from Lucas Weber. Indeed we do, as we get into the chicane and take it away, that position we do. And Vettel looking interested as well. Is Lucas Weber going to be able to fight back though? We tried to make it so he couldn't be able to mount another, mount an attack again back on us. But at the moment, he's still looking to make that move back on us. But again, diving down the inside, just like Butler did on lap 1. But it didn't work out quite so well for Weber. So now can we catch up to Devon Butler and retake P4 and retake that chance to get P6 in the driver standings. And Devon Butler now is down the road. We move on to lap 6. We've still got Weber behind us and Vettel as well, but not really in an overtaking opportunity. We're turning the ERS down as well at that point, but just trying to save it a little bit. So, but for the right opportunity, because now Weber, when we were saving it, Weber's managed to make that opportunity and overtake us. And now Vettel looking to do the same. So we've saved the ERS at the wrong point and lost the position to Weber again, almost losing the position to Sebastian Vettel, but forcing him out wide. And again, that's hampered our chances of getting P4 in the P6 in the standings. But Weber, with Perez's problems, Weber could get P7 in the P8 in the driver's standings, because he's currently P9. Perez is sunk like a stone in with his problems, so Weber will be gunning to get P8 in the driver's standings. So we'll be P7 and P8, proving that we basically are the 4th best team, myself and Weber, with this season. But now we're going to box, got to pit for some new tyres, and hopefully now we can get the undercut and go and try and regain these positions that we have lost in this race. But we will pit on the 2 fit these medium tyres then. And we can see Butler's just pitted as well. So Butler is currently running P4, so he's our target. And Vettel also pitting. And is that an unsafe release? That should be an unsafe release. But yeah, I don't know how that happened. We can manage to get away with that. Just about staying ahead of Sebastian Vettel as we come out of the pits then. with just half of the race left to go. Can we get up towards Devon Butler in this race? Because that will be enough of P6 in the driver standings, unless Pierre Gasly has carved his way through the field, which I don't know if he would have or not. We move on to the next lap then, where all the other cars have come out of the pits. Lucas Weber's come out of the pits behind us now, so we've managed to get up to P6 now for the time being, with a few cars left to pit. So this is good news then. We've managed to make the undercut on our teammate, who won't be at all too happy. The undercut didn't work out in Brazil, but it's managed to work out this time in Abu Dhabi. So we've just got to get through these laps and see if we can catch up to Devon Butler and keep Vettel behind us as well. Hasn't actually looked too interested since we put on these medium tyres. We actually feel a little bit more comfortable on these tyres perhaps than we did on those softs at the start. Perhaps they had a little bit more, took a little bit more life out of them in qualifying, and everyone else was on much better tyres at the start of the race. But now that we've moved on to these medium tyres, you can see the gap towards Devon Butler is getting smaller, and now we can close in on Butler and perhaps think about taking away that P5, which is currently his. We've got someone else that's left to pit then, and then we should be all good and be able to go to the end of this race and the end of this championship. Hopefully take away P4 in the race and P6 in the driver's standings, and maybe if there's any incidents up front, we may be able to nab another podium in this race, because Valtteri Bottas is currently leading the race now. So Valtteri Bottas leading the race is almost certainly going to win the driver standings now. So Bottas in pole position to win his first title in his career mode and become the Season 1 champion. So that would be a real spanner in the works to Hamilton. Will he stay at Mercedes for Season 2 if that's the case? Or will Bottas be shown the door? Or will Bottas want to move anywhere else? I don't know if anyone would want to lead that Mercedes team at the moment. It's so dominant on this game. And now we're closing in on Devon Butler enough to get DRS. Looking a little bit too far back at the moment though, but we're closing in. Are we going to make that move down the inside? We do make the move down the inside. So it's a little bit of contact, but there's enough room for us to get through there. And we're up into P4 provisionally. When Romain Grosjean pits, we'll be in P4. And that's enough to take the driver standings into P6. So that's what we needed to do, is get back into that P4. Leclerc, we're not going to be able to get back into our starting position because Leclerc's long gone down the road. He's had an awesome second half of the season and been just on fire, particularly in Mexico and Brazil. He was sort of a little bit held back behind in our little battle between ourselves and him and Vettel. And but again, today he's managed to get up there with the top two guys, and not too far behind him, but there's a huge gap between P3 and P4 at the moment. When Grosjean pits, we'll be a long way behind Leclerc, despite out qualifying him. So that's something we really need to focus on next season if we want to start winning more races. But we've got 2 laps left to go now in this championship, 2 laps left in this race. And Sebastian Vettel is now behind us. He's up to P5. So we just got to worry about him in the last couple of laps and try and keep hold of this position, because we are currently got to be in P6 by the looks of it, unless Pierre Gasly's managed to climb his way into the points. We don't know where Pierre Gasly is at the moment, but Vettel is going to be our next. Is now managed to get back up into P5. So we're going to have to worry about him a little bit here. We can see he's closing in. He's managed to find a little bit of pace. Has he got that DRS open? Yes, he has. Come from quite far back. We've had to save a little bit of ERS there, and Vettel's managed to take P4 away from us, and we run into the back of him, lose a bit of our front wing. So that's not going to help us at all with an attempt to make an overtake again on him. So we lost P4 at the dying moments in this race. So that means we're not going to be able to take P6 away from Pierre Gasly at the moment. We just perhaps saved the ERS at the wrong time again. We didn't think Vettel was actually going to get that close to us and actually managed to make the overtake. He was quite far back when we came onto that straight. And for him to end up taking that position, that's a bit of disappointment at all. And now down to P5, going to have to settle for P7 in the driver standings, unfortunately. But a good season it has been, particularly the second half of Alfa Romeo, getting 2 podiums. Although we have had 2 DNFs as well, but we had a DNF technically at Azerbaijan, where we had just bottled it on the last lap of the race. But definitely have improved a lot at Alfa Romeo. Definitely a better car. Definitely prefer a car with more power, which has helped me a lot in the second half of the season. Climb places in the driver standings. Just didn't enjoy that Toro Rosso car at all. For whatever reason, it was just not being able to get me results, and yeah, definitely just not at harmony with the team as well. But at the end of this race though, Vettel's now out of DRS, so Vettel is going to be able to pull away. Going to have to worry about Weber perhaps, because we got that damage to our front wing. It's going to slow us down a little bit. Hopefully not too much though. But on the last lap of the race, we should be able to be P5 and be P7 in the driver standings. Not bad season 1, but season 2 we'll definitely be hoping to do a lot more. Perhaps with these aero changes we may see Mercedes falter somewhere, but it just doesn't look too likely. That so far out in front, it doesn't look like one rule change is going to help everyone else catch up with them. But unfortunately that is the way it is. So maybe next season our target should be P3 in the driver standings, unless we can develop a lot in season 2 with whoever we are with, whoever we decide to go with in the end. But running wide, desperately trying to catch up to Sebastian Vettel again, but it doesn't look like it's going to be. Hamilton sets the fastest lap of the race at the end of the race, but the winner is Lewis Hamilton, but the champion is going to be Valtteri Bottas, who finishes P2, Leclerc P3. So Valtteri Bottas is the season 1 drivers champion in the end of that. Even if Lewis Hamilton had the drivers at the fastest lap of the race, it was only be 1 point, and that means that Valtteri Bottas has won the title by 1 point, and we run out of fuel as we cross the line, and Weber almost gets us there. But yeah, a very strong season, as our engineer said, and it was quite fitting that we crossed the line with our teammate there, 5th and 6th. Valtteri Bottas is the drivers' champion, something I don't think I'd ever thought I would see. But yeah, we can be happy for him. He's going to be happy about that for sure. But who can stop Mercedes in season 2? Hopefully Alfa or Ferrari can. Well, hopefully we can in whatever team we decide to go with going forward. But most likely we're going to be trying to sign for Alfa Romeo. With the season that we have had in the second half, we want to have a little bit of stability. And there's the scenes of Valtteri Bottas celebrating with his crew. Very happy days for him. But we most likely want to stay with Alfa Romeo if they offer us a good deal going forward into season 2. So we'll see how that pans out in just a moment's time. And of course, going forward into pre-season as well, we'll have all the transfers and everything that's going on. So it'll be ideal to see that then. But here we go. There's the end of the drivers, end of the season, and we'll have a look at the final standings of the season as well. Now you can see Bottas leads by 1 point. Vettel finished 3rd in the end of Leclerc, Verstappen, and we were just 1 point behind Gasly as well. So a bit of heartbreaking. Weber finished on the same amount of points as Perez in the end. So Weber would have been happy to overtake me then at the end to secure P8. But in the end, we finished 4th, and McLaren down in 9th, and Williams in 10th. But Williams improved as well, so maybe Williams won't finish bottom next season. But there you go. It should be slightly different going into season 2. And then you can see the bottom half, Kimi Raikkonen on no points. Carlos Sainz couldn't get off the mark for Renault when he joined them again. So that's disappointing for those guys. But going forward into season 2, we'll see who's left and who's joined the grid. What transfers have happened as we go into the cutscene. Get a little bit of extra resource points that will help us out a bunch going into next season. Hopefully we can get a lot of those upgrades and definitely move forward. But there's all the reputation. Here's the cutscene with Emma, and yeah, we've done a good job this season. And yeah, apparently we have a strong negotiating position, but I'm sure that well, we'll see what the offers are that they give us. Sometimes they're a bit ridiculous, as I've seen on my other career modes. But
on to the next one.
Here we go. On to next season we go, and we'll see what kind of contract we can get now. Here we go, start the contract negotiation, and to be honest, we'll be happy with that if we can negotiate a little bit of something like that. Don't really want to be second driver, to be honest. If we are first driver, we get a little bit of bonus, so we switched that one up, and trying to see where we can improve the upgrade speed as well from level 1 to level 2. At least currently they've not really offered one for our value, but we try and get the level 3 to start off with and try and negotiate a good contract, at least for now. But that is a little bit above what they want, a little bit above our value. So we change our race position to 5th as well. See if that will help. And now we propose a contract, and it's just about too much for them. So we're going to have to reduce something slightly. Just what can we do to reduce that? I mean, it's a bit unfair. It's that such a small margin has managed to end up in a negotiation failing, but we end up reducing the resource points. Hopefully next season, if we can increase our value, they might give us a better contract after the first 4 races. But we are staying with the Alfa Romeo team. Then whether Lucas Weber will stay or not is another question. But we'll go forwards then into the next season with the Alfa Romeo team, hoping to build on what we have achieved this season, and seeing what transfers could happen as well. But who knows? That's the end of the season then, and almost the end of the episode. And I hope you've enjoyed this season. To those of you who have watched this, those of you who are new halfway through, or those of you who have clicked on this video by accident, I'm sure if you did click on this video by accident, you'd have clicked off it almost immediately once you heard my voice. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it today. Like and subscribe. I'll see you very soon for the start of next season, perhaps with some pre-season stuff going on. Until then, goodbye.